Oh, is my hair out? James Woods. Oh my God, I am looking dusty. I'm looking dusty. I'm looking dusty than the dust of Dusty. It's okay. I'm allowed to look dusty. I'm old. Ibrahim Traore. Hey, Africa's rising. Africa's rising. I've been watching a lot of videos on Africa. 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 And a lot of their woes. A lot of what's going on. A lot of their... Africa's a troubled place, man. You know? All that money over there, all the people stealing from Africa, all these damn thieving ass thieves, thieving bastards, just going over there and taking Africa's stuff. Give me back my stuff. And then upset when Africa is like, you know what? We're just going to start when Africa's like, you know what? Okay. All right. That's Africa's attitude right now. Okay. All right. That's Africa right now. Africa's like this. Bet that. That's how Africa is right now. I want to say this. Ibrahim Traore is doing his thing. Young soldier. Over there kicking ass and taking names. Peace out to him. Mali, Niger, Guinea, Ghana, so you get their act together. Even West Africa. Yeah, I think it's West Africa. I don't know but definitely the Sahel and the problems that they got over there with mining the gold and people coming over there and just taking their stuff, and half of the country doesn't belong to them because it's being taken over by the Al Qaeda people. And there's a whole race war going on over there. And of course, there's, a lot of damage being done to each other. People are really over there, like losing, like literally. And I hope that all stops. But, they're backed by those people over there. They're backed by, these governments that are pretty much saying, hey, go over there and raise hell. Don't let the Burkina Faso settle, and do what you got to do. Keep that place unstable. Do not let them stabilize, because we want to keep plundering that country for gold and every kind of mineral they can find, and people. They're plundering it for people too. And we want to keep plundering them. We don't want to pay them what they're asking for. We don't want to, gold bond is now a thing now. So they don't want to go through gold bond. They're just over there stealing these people's minerals, and they're keeping them weak. They keep the population weak, and so they can't fight back. And we're talking about a whole country trying to fight back. So And all of Africa is like that. All Africa is in the same situation. And I hope they get those people out of their country, but there's a lot of people who don't belong there. And the Fulani people, um, the Fulani people are over there, and the Fulani people are, I don't understand why the Fulani people are in Africa and just doing what they want to do and think nothing's going to happen. And I'm not against going to another country. I am against taking over another country and then in that government of that country allowing it to happen. Africa it's such a beautiful country, but the people who are in control of Africa, a lot of their leaders are just corrupt. And they're allowing this corruption to happen to their own people as long as they can line their pockets. And this is what happens when you have tribes. One tribe wants to be over another tribe. So they're like, no, we're not going to let this tribe get money. Our tribe is the only one that's going to. And, that only goes so far, But I just want to talk about Africa. I enjoy what they're doing over there. I know there's still a long way to go. I know that there's a lot of soldiers that are, catching heck over there. I used to be a soldier, so I do understand the plight of some soldiers. I haven't done as much as they're doing, but I understand the plight of getting out there. Fortunate for me, I did not go to war, even though I'm a wartime veteran. I just want to say, Africa, keep pushing. And I hope all your country people, I hope they can all finally agree what's good for their country and kick everyone out that doesn't belong there or that doesn't want to do right. You kicked out the French, good, kick them out. Get out. Get out. You were supposed to stop these people coming into our country and doing whatever, and you never stopped them. You let them come in and do whatever, and then you only responded once they were all gone. Get out. Get out. All those villagers losing their lives, these women being taken away, and, the fathers, no longer there, and, just because they all been tied up and knocked off, the children disappearing. You guys are over there stealing people. You're stealing and you're doing God knows what with them. Babies missing, tired of it. I want the hand of God to just come down and bam, just slap all of them, just pow. Get them all up out of there. Send them all to their home country. Put up some good defense. Get some of them. Hell, the people in Burkina Faso, you give them another year, they're going to have walking defensive damn mech giants because they're so damn brilliant. They got their kids over there making arc reactors. And just like that, Burkina Faso is no joke. They are no joke. But I can't wait until they make weapons that could stop all this nonsense and take their country back. That's what I'm looking for. I want to see what they're going to come up with because it's going to be Burkina Faso's. They're going to make some stuff. They're going to make some serious. They're going to be the first people to come out with pulse rifles and use them. They're not going to be like America and whatnot, and make something and hide it until some big. No! Soon as they discovered how to make a pulse rifle, They're going to go right out there and head right to the hottest zone, to some village, and they're just going to lay in wait. You're not even going to know that they got have these things, and they're just going to go lay in wait, and they're going to be in these people's houses and tell them to shh. It's going to look like a regular village that's getting ready to get plundered, and then here come these motorcycles, and here comes Al Qaeda, getting ready to take some more bodies. They're gonna roll up 100, 150 deep, 200, start shooting up the place. Then about 5 people are gonna step out with mech body armor, computerized, digitized Iron Man outfits. They're just going to step right out into the open. Even though it's going to be night, they're going to they're going to infrared every single one of those guys. And they're going to wipe out every single one of them. Now, I'm not against the Fulani people. I'm against people who are causing terror. Let's get that straight. I'm not against Fulani people. I'm against you taking over people's land. If you come in and take over somebody's land by force and you hurt those people, I believe there should be a fair fight. It should be a defense. But I think you people are messing with the wrong people, and you've been doing it for years. I think now that Burkina Faso is getting a little foothold, if they can get the right foothold, Russia's helping them. Hell, I think even North Korea said they're going to help them. China definitely wants to help, but of course they want to take all the gold. But if they can get a good foothold and get some good technology and start making their own weapons, I think in just a few years' time, they're going to be leaps and bounds beyond anybody else. They're just way too brilliant. They're way too brilliant. And I see that the United States have, the United States gave them some vehicles. It's like, okay. The United States gave Ghana some, $60 million worth of vehicles. Okay. They also gave neighboring countries that surround the Sahel region, vehicles. But I think that the Sahel region, they're not going to be democratic. That's for one. And I'm okay with that. But I think those people are going to turn out, they're going to turn out something that the world is just going to be, they're going to be in shock when they see it. That's just what I think. I think when you are raised in the fields of battle, that your mind is just constantly in battle. And the way the West has just been wiping Burkina Faso's people just off the map without a care, just doing whatever and taking all their resources, taking their just people and doing just, whole villages just disappearing overnight. You do that to somebody once, they are you have stoked the fires forever. Forever. And those kids that survive those situations, once those kids get their hands on weapons, whoever did that to them is always going to be the enemy. And they're going to come for you. And anybody that you send over there, they better be ready. Anybody that goes and tries to set up shop over there and have your little villages and your people, let me tell you something. They're not going to have one care for any child, mother, father. When they see you, they are just going to wipe you out. They're just going to wipe you out. And even though, Africa isn't poor, it's just got a lot of spots that people are just everyday working people. But once all those people finally had enough and say, you know what? We're now that we have a means to protect ourselves, those villagers, they're going to turn into a militia. And over here in America, we know a lot about that, especially in the state of Texas and Michigan, Ohio. We know what militia can do. All right. Now take the whole continent of Africa. All those people who just decide, you know what? Shoot, we ain't got no nukes, but we made our own brand of M4s. We made our own brand of 50 cal. We got our own brand of it all now. We don't go and ask France for it because we know they're going to give us guns with no bullets. We don't ask them for nothing. We know how to make metal over here. And the best metal is going to be made in the Sahel region. The best, strongest tracer rounds, explosives. I'm telling you, as soon they're going to get up, they're going to get once they get a nuclear plant, even before they get a nuclear plant, they're going to make some missiles that are just going to be it's just going to be terrible. And they're going to release all that energy on the people who did their people wrong. They're going to be a threat. And the next people that decide to come into their area, they're going to dust them. You're going to hear a very particular sound that's only going to be a Burkina Bay, Pratt Whitney, a version of Pratt Whitney or Mercedes or you're going to hear it's going to be a very distinctive sound from those jet engines. Those ARAMs, you're going to hear it. Not even going to be a cruise missile. It's not. You're not going to be able to fight against it. You're not going to be able to shoot it down. And if you hear it, it's too late. Because you put these people through the fire. And those kids, they're going to grow up and they're going to be they're going to get their whole country back. And then they're going to go and tear up any country. Any country that comes in there and tries to steal what they... You're going to hear that sound. Anybody that tries to come in the middle of the night and steal babies and women and children and off the fathers, you're going to hear that sound. You're going to be faced with an armored division that's going to be well camouflaged. They're going to have steel thicker than a submarine, and they're going to have the mobility of an F-35 jet. Is going to be ridiculous. And they're going to be on the ground. It's going to be a ground-to-air assault. It's going to be terrible because they're going to be packed. And even when they don't have any more bullets left in these machines they're going to make, they're going to be able to slave different machines and have them work for them. Now just imagine that. They're going to be able to slave a machine. They're going to be able to slave drones. They're going to have drones reinforcing them. They're going to have drones, you're going to have drones in the field doing their firing. They're going to have drones that are feeding them information, feeding them more. It's going to be terrible. It's going to be bad. And it's going to be soon. Those drones are going to be, it's not going to be people. Those drones are going to come up, open the back, slip in the, them armor piercing rounds, reload. Guys are going to get hit with some incendiary rounds. Even if you have sappers, it's not going to help you. They're going to roll right out into the... Going to run right in. You think, oh, this sounds like, it's just a fantasy. No, this stuff is... Look at what Japan did. Hell, Japan basically has an FDS-1 at this point. I'm telling you, Burkina Faso is going to get a hold of that. And being that they've been in the dark and have all these power outages, they know how to live. They know how to... Do you know the story of Batman? He wasn't black. I mean, he wasn't white. He was a black guy. It was a real person. You know where he came from? Africa. I bring that up because they tout Batman as some guy who hunts at night and lives. You know why? Because they don't have all that power. They don't have lights like we do. Not in some parts of the Sahel. They don't have the big power grids that don't go out. They have blackouts. They learn to look and see at night. They learn to be around the predators at night. Walk right past them. Right past them. And this is what you're up against. So I pity anybody who is in their way in 10 years from now? I think it's going to be bad for you guys. And I hope the West gets out of their business, stops pillaging from them. I hope the French leave them alone. Hope America stops spreading lies and stop giving money to the West. Giving money to the Fulani people in order to destabilize these countries, even though I know that's not going to happen. But once again, you got Russia, you got China, you got North Korea. These countries are ready. They're looking for a fight. And they love technology. They love it. So if these countries are aiding the Sahel region, and they finally catch a break over there, because Gaddafi was dealing with Putin too. I think it's going to be a bad deal for some people. I think Burkina Faso and let's just face it, Nigerians are some of the smartest people on the planet, if not the smartest people on the planet. If you got rid of all the tribal corruption in Nigeria, just got rid of it, and they operated as one, and said, we don't need anybody else, Nigeria would be unstoppable. The whole continent of Africa would be unstoppable. Who would stop them? Nuclear weapons? I don't think so. Get the Afrikaners out of South Africa. Get them out of there. Get out of there. Apartheid's over. Get them out of there. Give them their land back. Throw out all the corrupt officials. Throw them out. It's the officials that are stopping the progress. Throw them out. Overrun them. All you young people, go to the Capitol and say, listen, you either step down now or it's going to be a bad deal. You got 1 second to make up your mind. Just go. Millions of you. Head right to the Capitol. Get out. We know that this is a democracy, and the democracy is kicking our butt. Nothing's getting done. We're tired of the talking. We're tired of the, you guys hiding money. America was sending aid in the tune of like $50 million for some African countries because they were, trying to help with all the diseases. Those, so they were sending healthcare over to them for free. Those people were taking it and then selling it to the sick people. Get those people out. There were over 2,000 pharmacies just in one country. They set up these pharmacies and say, hey, we're going to sell it to you. Get those people out. Now America's like, we're not giving you any more aid because they were selling it to the poor people. All those people, kick them out the country. Get out. All of you. We know what you were doing. You're not here for us. Get out. That aid was for free, and they were selling it to them. Get out of the country. Make all those people exiles. Say, we're not going to offer you, but your whole family, you're all leaving the country right now. And if they don't want to leave, you help them pack their stuff and make them leave. All of them. You load them all up into a bus and you say, hey, you guys are going to leave the country. We don't care where you go, but you're not coming here. Get all their names, all their faces, get them out of the country. And anyone who acts like that, all you people who won't let people go from one border to another and you're illegally charging them, you too, get out of the country. We're sick of this. You're stopping progress. Get out. All you thieves who are allowing people to take the gold, get out of the country. That's what needs to happen, just the cleansing. And if they want force, then take them by force. But if they don't, then say, hey, we don't care where you go, but you're leaving today, not tomorrow. Your house is going to be raised if you don't leave. You're leaving now. Get everything that you can carry. You're getting on these buses, and we're taking you guys out of here. And if you want it the hard way, we'll give it to you the hard way. There's no negotiating. We don't want to hear it. We know what you were doing. Get in the car or get in the bus. That's it. If they don't want to go, take them to the ground, handcuff them, put them in the bus yourself. And that's being nice. Your wife, your kids, they're going with you. We don't care. We don't care. Because you didn't care. Once you get all those people out, you take what aid that you can, probably from Burkina Faso, medicines that you guys all get together, you heal those people of malaria and all that other stuff that they got. You heal those people. You let those people get up and get strong so they can fight. After that, you feed them, you get them good, clean water. You kick everybody out that's not doing right. You go to the countryside where they got them illegal mines. Get out. Go looking for them in the bushes and wherever. Send out your drones, and anybody that's not doing, you had a drone, you talk through the drone. You are here warned to get out of the country by tomorrow night. Anybody that is left here, it will be on your own, whatever. You just warn them. Tomorrow night, this whole place will be razed to the ground. And if that drone comes back and sees them there that night, it's their fault. They were warned to leave. They didn't leave. Boom. You didn't leave. We don't care. Diplomacy is over. You see what Ghana did? Ghana's like, diplomacy is over. We came to you, to the gold mines. We told you people who were digging gold, uranium, and we went and told all of you, if you don't have a permit, by the end of May, then we're going to get you out of the country. Heck, they even went and arrested some of these officials that were out there digging because they didn't respond. They said, hey, you owe us a bunch of money for the gold that you dug up. And they didn't respond. So they said, okay, drove out there and they arrested some of the officials. Some of the people who were, out there on the plants, they arrested them. Then they put out an arrest warrant for the people who own it, and that didn't work. And then they said, you know what? Okay, it's by force now. Now it's by force. So anybody in Ghana who is mining gold, and Burkina Faso, Mali, Niger, all these countries, they're all doing the same thing. If you are mining gold, you have to go through Gold Bond now. If you're out there and you find these little, because there's so much gold in Africa. There's regular people like me out there in the dirt, just, and coming up with gold, like gold. And then there's people from, other countries who come in and say, hey, we'll buy that from you for pennies on the dollar. They're so poor, they take it. They're like, fine, here, I just need to eat. I'm trying to feed. And I understand that. But now these countries are like, you can't do that anymore. If you're going to mine gold, you have to give the gold to us and we'll pay you for it. Your countrymen will pay you for the gold. As a matter of fact, the state, or as they call it, which is really the government, will pay you for it. They have to come through us and buy it. But now you have to have a permit just to dig gold. So they're shutting down all of these mines. Burkina Faso did the same thing. They shut down the mines. Because I think the French was out there mining. And they went out there and said, hey, you guys are done mining here. It's over. And they were like, well, you owe us money. And Traoré said, Captain Traoré, Your Excellency, he said, how much? They said 300 million. He said, I'm going to give you 60 million and you're going to leave. He gave them $60 million. They left. And that was it. Another country, I think Ghana, said, we're not even going to do that. We're going to go through politics and do it. And we're going to sue you because you owe us so much money. But they were like, we're not paying you. He was like, fine. You're no longer going to mine in this country. And that's exactly what happened. Then Traoré went and made a deal with the Russians, and they came in, and now they're the ones who are mining the gold. Except they're mining the gold, and then it's getting refined in Africa. See, it's one thing to mine the gold minerals. It's another thing to refine it. So when you mine it and then you ship it out somewhere and somebody else refines it, the finished product is what people are paying for. So they're making all the money off the finished product, but they're paying you pennies on the dollar for the actual minerals. So Burkina Faso, Nigeria, and all these other countries are like, screw that. You're going to mine it here. You're going to refine it here. It's going to be sold through us. We'll give you this percent for doing your job, and then we'll take this percent. That goes to the country. That's how come Burkina Faso has been able to do so much so quick. He's only been in 3 years? Since 22? And there's a list of all the things Ibrahim Traoré has done. Hey, what's going on? There's a list of all the things Ibrahim Traore has done, and it's. I mean, so I'll go down just a few of them. What he's done. For one, his country is still at war. 40% of his country is still being occupied by the Fulani people, who are Al Qaeda, the Middle Easterns. They're Al Qaeda militia, and so they're still causing hell. And they're being backed by the French, the Americans, the UNs. But there's some of the things that he's done. When do you think about what do you think about Kenya? You know what? I don't know too much about Kenya. I'm just now getting into the other countries and what they're doing. So I mean, you could tell me stuff. I would have to go and look it up. But I think that everybody is doing what Ibrahim Traore is doing, except of course, the Congo, because the Congo still got issues. But the Congo is they're getting aid from Burkina Faso. So Burkina Faso, okay, so let's go down some of the things that Ibrahim Traore has done, and let's look at what it's doing. He built hospitals, right? He built a cashew factory. So now they export cashews. They make and export cashews. That's a big deal, right? He's able to get weapons, so he can, get his army together. So he's able to get weapons now. They were getting weapons, but they weren't getting any bullets. He's able to get weapons and bullets. So they're still getting more weapons, of course. He also set up like one of the villages that were just taken over, like a lot of soldiers passed on. Uh, he had set up a military camp where that village was. It's just that the Al Qaeda militia, they were just too much and overwhelmed them and slaughtered everyone. But nonetheless, is the right idea. Set up a military camp here. But so there's that. He bought 500 buses just for transport. He bought 700 tractors to feed the people, and it worked. So all this, we're out here starving. He was like, nah, we're going to change that. What do you guys need? They're like, we need seeds and we need farm equipment. He went and purchased all these tractors and handed them out. He didn't say come buy them. He handed them to farmers. And then he handed all these farmers seeds. And now, instead of going to the UN for aid, Africans are asking Burkina Faso for food, for aid. Just like that. So he stopped the illegal digging of gold. He stopped that. I just told you guys what he did with that whole thing. He kicked all the French troops out. He said, France, you got to go because we realized that you guys were the ones who were keeping us like this. So he said, get out. He paid back all the debt of his country. So his country is completely, there's no debt for that country. They paid everything off. He took the gold and he said there was no reserve for Burkina Faso as far as gold was concerned. So when that general said, hey, they're using their gold reserves to protect themselves, he said that's not even true because when he made that statement, we didn't even have gold reserves. He said, now we do. He said there wasn't 1 ounce of gold reserves until I stepped in. And now we have gold reserves. He took his GDP from 18 to 22 billion. So every year they're stacking billions of dollars now. Billions. All the other minerals that were being mined illegally, he's like, we're cutting that out too. But mind you, still 40% of his country is occupied by the Fulani people. So they're still doing all kind of illegal stuff over there. So he's building up his army and whatnot so he can go and fight these people and get them out of it. Of course, like I said, he built hospitals and Free healthcare, free education, even a college degree. That's what he said. Free education, even a college degree. So he wants his people on. So he's also building roads. And you can see the roads that he's built, all fresh new concrete, new roads, all that's being built. New airport, got a new airport going on. He bought himself a big old 747, I think it is, or 757, one of them big old planes, but it says Burkina Faso on it. Man's got an airplane now. Um, so he's trying to get nuclear plants. So that's what he's trying to get. Burkina Faso doesn't have uranium, but their neighbors do. I think Ghana has uranium. So there's that. But nonetheless, they'll get it. He also went, because they're landlocked, he also went to some countries that are not landlocked, and he said, listen, I want to buy a port so we can start shipping things in, and that'll come into our country. So he bought a port just so he can get shipments in. Thank you. Yeah, so he bought a port, right? I mean, it's just amazing the stuff that he's doing. And of course, they have, new bikes, they have new motor vehicles for protecting Burkina Faso itself. I mean, it still has a long way to go, but he's getting down all the basics that he needs. All the basics that he needs. And now they have drones now. So instead of, because the insurgents will come in the middle of the night, they'll come in a village, raid the village, and be gone. Well, now they have drones, so they can actually see some of the stuff that's going on. And they can, go ahead and respond, because before they couldn't respond. They see it, they wouldn't even know it was happening until next day somebody from the village says, hey, my whole village is gone. Everybody's, they're all wiped out. So his response is faster now. It's better. Of course, they need a lot more help, but the response is getting better. And like I said, they're making more money now. They got more income. They're more stable. They still have, grid issues because they don't have what we have as far as electricity and stuff like that. But they're doing a lot of solar panel, stuff like that. So so they're working on that, and they're going to be all right. They're going to be all right. But of course, it takes a long time before you can get a whole, 3 Mile Island up there and get that going on. And yeah, so he's built schools. So he's got kids in schools. The people from the Saudi Arabia, they were like, hey, let us build mosques, 200 mosques. He was like, my people don't need prayer. They need schools. They need protection. They need healthcare. And Donald Trump was like, hey, come see me. And he was like, I'm too busy building a country. That's what he said. So now there's the whole fight with, of course, the West. And now you have the Russians that are in Burkina Faso. You got the Chinese that are everywhere, but they also support Burkina Faso. North Korea said, hey, we'll support you too. We're down too. And of course, anywhere Russia goes, America thinks, hey, we have to counter that. So America gave Ghana $60 million worth of military trucks. They also gave some to Burkina Faso too, but it isn't $60 million worth. And basically, the Ghanaian president told America that he he knows that the Russians are in Burkina Faso, and that's on their border. And he was like, I don't feel comfortable with that, so I want you guys to help us out just in case it all goes bad over here. So they're basically touting them as they're gearing up to attack and to attack Ghana, which is, I don't think that Burkina Faso is gearing up to attack anyone. I think they're in protection mode right now. But I think that the Russians have this stigma that, they're the super bad guy, they're the superpower bad guy who's going to come and, wipe everything out and invade and all this other stuff. And I'm like, to my knowledge, Russia has never invaded Africa. They never have. But the English, the French, the Dutch, they're still there. But Russia's never invaded, to my knowledge. I believe the Germans were over there doing some madness, but not to my knowledge, no Russians. So this is one reason why Burkina Faso and other countries in Africa look to Putin and go, we'll take your help. But the way Burkina Faso is doing it, Ibrahim Traore said, we'll take your help under these conditions. We don't just want you to come in and you and the Wagner group and then start shooting up the place because you can take us over. He's like, we want you to train our men. We want to buy weapons from you. We want to learn how to manufacture these weapons. You can teach us to fish. You can catch a fish for us or whatever that, saying goes. But if you teach a man to fish, you know what I'm saying? You can give a man a fish is one thing, but if you teach him how to fish, he can feed himself for the rest of his life. You can give a man a fish and he'll eat for a day. Teach a man a fish, he'll live for the rest, for the rest of his life, whatever that is. But that's basically the way Traore is looking at it. Like, I want to be self-sustainable. I don't want to have to come to anybody. And the only way to do that is to go to the superpowers who haven't been raping your country and say, hey, you guys have nuclear weapons. I want to know how you did that. And they're like, pay us. He said, how much? And this is our price. Fine, here you go. Because I got gold now. You guys don't produce gold. I got gold. You don't produce it. I have it. I have mountains of it. You don't have it. So let's make a trade. And so this is what's going on. And you have other countries that are backing these so-called dictatorships, these military dictatorships. And there are even some presidents who are in democracies, and they're complaining because they're saying, hey, I think it's the president of Guinea, I think. They're saying, hey, this military president, when he gets up in the morning, he says, I want this done. It happens. Boom. He says, I want this to be a law. It happens. Boom. No one can come to Burkina Faso and buy land. No one can own that land. No one. It's all owned by the government. He changed everything. He just woke up one day and said, boom, this is what I want. It became a law. Just like that. So this president was going, we're in a democracy. When I say I want something done, it has to go through Parliament. You guys have to think about it for 2 years. It has to go through all these other systems. About that time, it's 5 years old, and you guys kicked me out because You're saying I didn't do anything. But it's you guys who are the ones that are holding things up. He says, that's not, I'm not doing that no more. He said, we're not doing that. When I say I want something done, I want it done now. I'm not waiting 10 years. I'm not. And anyone, basically he's threatening them, saying, if you're the one who are holding up progress, you're fired. And he says, I'll do everything under the color of law. He said, because I know the law. It's the one thing I know. But if I say, hey, we need this done, and you guys are like, no, we need to think about this, you're fired. That's what these presidents in Africa are doing now. And these are not military presidents. These are regular these are non-military dictatorships, or I'm sorry, democracies. Ibrahim Traore, that's a dictatorship. These are democracies like ours, but they're holding up progress because of all these people who are in the way. When money is, involved, they'll stop everything and take out large swaths of this money, and then about time it's supposed to get to a project that helps the people, there's very little money left. So they're just doing all kind of criminal stuff, and these guys are going, I'm finished with this. Because the people are saying, hey, you're not doing anything. He's like, I'm doing everything I can, but these people are taking the money, they're taking this, they're doing that, they're holding it. I'm done with that. That's not what this presidency is going to be. When I say do it, do it. Here's the law that says I can do it. It's like they're basically saying, I want it to be an executive order. That's what they're saying. Do this now. So I'm enjoying what's going on. I'm enjoying the attitudes of these new presidents. A lot of them, you're not too sure about Ghana, Ivory Coast, Congo, but I think they're going to come around because Africa is very young, meaning the majority of people in Africa are young. And I think what's going to happen is these people, the young people, are just going to overthrow whoever's in their way. They're just going to say, these people came, took our land. What are you going to do about it? This is what's going on in South Africa, where the white people own the majority of the land. So what did they do? They complained to the government. What did the government do? We don't care. We don't care? All right. I got you. So what did these young people do? They went out to the farmers, to the white farmers, the Afrikaners. They told them, they said, this is our land. And the Afrikaners said, no, it's not. We bought this land. We own this land. We've been owning this land for 3-4 generations. And they were like, your people kicked our people off by force and you killed them. And you took this land. That's what your ancestors did. But this is our land. And they says, nope. This is our land. It's been our land for so many. And they were like, you murdered to get that land. Well, we didn't do it. And we're not giving it to you. And they said, you either give us back our land or we're going to take it from you the same way you took it from our ancestors. And they said, we're not giving you anything. And that was the end of negotiations. So they waited. And then they got into small groups and they start climbing through these people's windows. And they start killing them in the worst way. In the worst way. The worst way. And when they left and you come back and you see your grandmother and the way they did your grandmother, you realize that these they weren't playing. And they started little hit groups. And you don't know who did it. You just know it got done. And it got to the point where the farmers said, we know that they're going to come for us. We just don't know when. And now you have 8,000 of those Afrikaners coming here to America and America inviting them in. That's what happened. And they're saying, oh, they're over there, just over there causing genocide. It's like, no, they're not. They warned you. They asked you. Then they begged you and they tried to deal with you. And you pretty much said, no, you're like, what are you going to do? Well, you found out. You found out. Now you can't get the picture of your grandmother out of your head because you left her there by herself thinking that you were protected by the government. And when you came back from shopping, you got the most horrific scene, something out of the Hills Have Eyes. And they had no mercy on her whatsoever. And they could have just snatched her up, took her out in the woods and did whatever. Hell, they could have not did anything. They could have just came in there and said, hey, if you don't tell your grandson to do what we said, you're not going to see the next day. And left. No, that's not what they did. They spoke to you, the man, directly. And you said, you're not giving up anything. As if there isn't millions of them here. And they said, I bet. There's also a city in South Africa, development that's all white people, and they said, we don't want any black people living here. You can't come live on this land, and we want to be sovereign. So the black people said, that's our land. And you know what's coming next. They think they're protected by the government, but I'm telling you that they're not. They're not. And there's going to be a reckoning. You're going to have these Africans that are going to mount up. They're going to mount up and they're going to come in droves. And when they do, they're going to slaughter that whole town. They're going to leave. They're going to leave nothing. They're going to do what Genghis Khan used to do when you didn't do what he asked and bargain with you. They're going to wipe out even the dogs and cats. Everything. There's not going to be one thing breathing. They're going to wipe the whole place out. And it's going to be an example to all of you hard-headed people. When you take land by force, and you settle in it, and the people are still there, you better believe it's going to happen to you. It may take 100 years. But those people remember. There's also a village in South Africa, and those people are the Dahomey tribe. The Dahomey tribe is who that movie was made with Viola, whatever Davis, whatever her name is. Yeah, and the Dahomey tribes were slave traders. They traded Africans, other Africans. But that tribe still exists. It's still there. Now, it's a village. It's a small village. And they don't have none of the amenities that the Afrikaners do. I mean, the place they built up is like luxury. When you go over to the Dahomey tribe, it's a shanty. There's not even paved roads. It's no internet, no nothing. I mean, it's just a village, and it's very small. But those villagers said, whenever they said, If a white person comes here, they're going to die. That's what they said. If any white person comes here, they're going to die. And they were like, why is that? They said, because they're warriors and they remember. It's like, we remember. We remember what they did. So they can't even come here. They can't come here in peace. They can't come here to negotiate. They cannot come here. They do, we're going to attack them. You don't believe me? Look it up. So, yeah, Africa is rising. They're getting all their gold back, all their gold, their uranium, their diamonds. You know, I don't know if you've ever seen any documentaries on digging for gold and digging for diamonds. It is very, very hard, and it is head to toe dirt. People are losing their lives because you have to go into these holes, and then the whole thing will collapse on you. You're breathing that stuff. Some people go underwater to dig. They don't come back up. They're gone. It is, and you got kids. There are kids out there. There's 8, 9-year-olds. You know, even Goodyear, the tire company, is in Africa, and they were using child labor. So even that was going on. So a lot of the stuff that's over there, that they preach over here, don't do, they're doing there. A lot of the taking advantage of women, a lot of taking advantage of little boys and girls and all the SA stuff, they're doing it there. The Europeans go over there, do it, then get on a plane and leave. And they're doing it to the max. I mean, they're maxing out on lust over there. And this is why they keep this place, this is why they keep Africa, parts of Africa destabilized. Now, there's some very civilized parts of Africa, very beautiful. But they keep a lot of parts of Africa destabilized because they want to traffic the humans. They want to traffic all the minerals they can. And they're using the Al Qaeda people to do it, and it's crazy because they said these Middle Easterners are they're the ones who are terrorists. They're the ones who blew up 9/11. They blew. No, they didn't. The CIA was training those people over there in the mountains of Kabul. They were training those people, teaching them how to fight. The CIA was teaching those people how to fight. And now they have all these weapons and they're going into Africa and they're living there. And they're like, come at us. What are you going to do? We know that a lot of your country is poor and destabilized. You don't have enough to get rid of us. What are you going to do? And they're like, well, nothing. There's nothing we can do. So they have these hit and run tactics. They're like, what? Now, what are you going to do? We're backed by the UN. We're backed by America. And it's a strange relationship. It's because America, you're the ones that said that these people blew up the Twin Towers, but now you're funding them? Wait a minute. You blew up their whole countryside. Saddam Hussein, you killed him. You destabilized the Middle East, and now you're using the Middle East to destabilize Africa? You guys are on a whole new level of wicked, America. France. You guys are wicked. That is a serious game of chess right there. Well, of course, now all these military presidents who are popping up, they all been fighting in these wars. So they know that it's the French. They know it's the Americans. They know it's the Dutch. They know it's the Germans. They know these guys are the ones who are funding the Fulani people. They know it. And the other Africans who are against them. They know it. They're the ones who are funding these coups. Every time a coup happens, oh, it's because America, somebody is funding it. You know? When they don't like what somebody says, like Muammar Gaddafi or Thomas Sankara, when they don't like what they say, they get rid of them. Off with your head. It's time for you to go. They get rid of them. They put up a puppet president who promises all these things to the starving people who are getting, murdered in the street, and riding around in their Mercedes and making speeches out of the damn sunroof. And we're gonna do better, and we're gonna and now these people are just like, no, you guys are not gonna do better. You're gonna keep doing the same thing. So this why when Ibrahim Traore came, he says, okay, we're gonna take over this president because he's not doing a damn thing. So they took him over, and then it was another soldier who took his place. and they wanted to see what he's gonna do. That guy did the same thing. He was another puppet. So they took him over and got him out of there. And Ibrahim Traore said, he's like, you know what? You guys don't want me to be president. That's fine. I'll go ahead and step down. All the people said, you better not. You better not step down. And they said, you stay right there. He's like, all right, you want me to be here? I'll be here. And he's been swinging a bat ever since. He's been doing so much good for his people that other Africans are looking at their president and they're going, why aren't you doing this? And now they're coming to him. Yeah, one guy, I don't know what president it was, but he was in France. He recognized his president. He saw him in a building with, two bodyguards, and he walked up to him with a camera and he said, let me tell you something. Don't think that you're going to do our people wrong and you're going to hide in France. He said, there's not going to be anywhere for you to go. And so his bodyguards came and tried to, get out the way. Now he's like, I'm telling you, don't think you're going to do our people wrong and then come to France and hide, because it's going to be bad for you. And there have been presidents who've done that. And of course, France will, I'm a man and I'm thinking about. There have been some very wicked presidents who've done that, caused a bunch of issues. Look at what Idi Amin did. I'm a man and I'm thinking about, what do you think I should do? Don't they pay guys for? I heard that there's some good money in it. Oh, shoot. Yeah. Hold on. I got to really think about that answer because well, okay, I'll explain it to you. Um, anyways. So that's my spiel on Africa. Hot. Turn my AC on. Sometimes the AC is a little too much. That's my spiel on Africa, you guys. And just keep up with the news. And I know somebody from Haiti. She was asking me, when is my country going to be next to get, liberated? I don't really have an answer for her. But I tell you what, now that everybody's seeing what Traore is doing, President Traore is doing, there's going to be some head busting going on. There's going to be some fire in the sky. Because people are They had enough. They had enough of crooked rulers. These African rulers are crooked, and they had enough of them. And they're just gonna we the people. That's what they're gonna do. They're like, we the people. They're just gonna we the people, and that's all. Kind of like with Doge, right? Doge was cutting off all those people's jobs, got all those people fired. Elon Musk, because he wanted to shrink. He wanted to shrink the government, which I'm not really mad about, but the way he did it was just so heartless, right? He just like, yeah, none of you people, yeah, you're fired, and you people weren't doing your job, and blah, blah. I'm the richest man. You're the richest man because of your stocks. You're not the richest man because of money you got in the bank. You're simply the richest man because of what you own. So why don't we just go after your stocks? And that's what the American people did. That's what the French people did. And what happened? His stock fell 40%. And literally, he was in tears. 40%. And Elon Musk was begging people to, cut it out, stop attacking him. It's like, wait a minute, you just put millions of people out of work. And you did it and was parading around with a damn saw in the White House, and your disrespectful kid sitting up there to tell the president to shut the F up, and he wasn't the president. Just blasphemy. You made a mockery out of the American people, so they attacked you. And that's how it goes. We the people. They set your stuff on fire. On fire. They went to your car places and they attacked you. They were like, we can't get you, but we'll attack you. We the people. Watch your mouth. This is what happens. These people get in these high places. They think they can't be. No, we can still hurt you. Cut it out. Stop cutting off all these jobs. Is he still cutting off these jobs? Is he still running around with a damn? No, he's not. Running around with a damn man with a saw? Is he? No, you ain't seen that thing since. You have not seen it since. Cut it out, Elon Musk. Cut it out. We the people. They were going to cripple the richest man on the planet. These African presidents, if they don't follow suit of Ibrahim Traore, they're going to get crippled. It's not even going to be a win. And as a matter of fact, any president that doesn't start paying attention to the poor people are going to rise up against him. The average person is going to rise up against them. And there's more of us than there are of them. Somebody said recently that on TikTok that there was a debate of the American people versus the military. And they said the American people would win. There are far too many of us. Yeah, they can wipe out large swaths of us with the stuff that they got, but You got to worry about when the night comes and you can't see us. Only hide in your bunker for so long. When you come out, you're going to get eaten. It's, it's not safe. We the people, cut your BS out. All you leaders who are just laughing at poor people struggling and getting their heads cut off. It's going to be a reckoning. It's not even, and it's not a threat, it's a promise. It may not happen today, may not happen tomorrow, may not happen in 5 years. But when it happens, it's going to be all your fault. You're not going to have nobody to blame. You didn't listen to the people. You thought you were high and mighty, living in some damn castle somewhere that nobody cares about. Nobody cares. What up, what up, what up? Nobody cares about your big house. You people buy these big ass $90 million mansion. Nobody gives a goddamn about your mansion. We don't care. We care about the price of eggs. Nobody gives a damn about your brand new $8 million car. We don't even want an $8 million car. What are we gonna do with it? You got cars that can go 350 miles. We don't. We just want to be able to get to work and back safe. That's what we care about. Can we get to work? Do we have a job? Can we feed our family? That's all we care about. Maybe later, maybe later on next week because my back has been hurting. I had to buy a new chair because that other one was hurting my back a lot. Wasn't getting the support, so I bought this beauty a couple days ago. But that's what we care about. The people care about, can we go to the grocery store? Can we afford food? All that other BS, we don't care. We don't care about the BS. And the rich people, look, Hollywood's out of work right now. Them bastards had the nerve to flaunt at some damn gala. They had the nerve to flaunt at some goddamn gala that we don't care about. You know who else did that? The French, back during the French Revolution. All the people were starving, and they were out there swimming in fresh fruits. Like, look what we have, and you don't have it. They was like, really? I bet. Next thing you know, you have millions of people at your door trying to rip your damn head off. You don't play like that. Well, I don't think it's a terrible idea. Yeah, it's cheap. It's cheap now. Hell, Burkina Faso is cheaper than that. Yeah, yeah, it's cheap. I thought about moving to yeah, yeah, it was Ghana. I thought about moving to Ghana. Yep. I thought about moving to Ghana. Yeah, it's cheap. I don't know what it costs to live over there. Let's look it up. That's a good question, Age. That's some good age right there. That's good. That's good question, Age. The cost of living in Ghana varies greatly depending on your lifestyle and location, but a reasonable estimate for comfort mid-range life in a city like Accra or Kumasi could be around 1,000 to 1,400 per month for a family of four. So, however, this can fluctuate depending on the factors like housing, transportation, eating habits, and then they give some more details. So that gives you a good perspective. That gives you a damn good perspective, right? I would do it. Hold on a second. Loving you is easy because you're beautiful. Stay in your bro. You is easy cause you're beautiful. Scooby Dooby Doo. Yeah, man, I do it. 1,400, I can live off of that. For a family of four in Ghana, 1,400, I live good over there. Give me a little small apartment. Probably go over there and start fixing on appliances. Right? Stay over there for about 6 months. Give me some knowledge. Get up out of there. Go to another country. Yeah. Get a haircut. No, no haircut. Yeah, I'd do it. I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking about it. Thinking about it. I wouldn't mind going to see some of these places got free education. For you guys that don't know, I have a college degree that I don't use, but I want to. I want to use it. I want to do something with it. Not even sure what. I want to get a master's degree in something. I'm thinking maybe dietitian. I'm thinking something like research dietitian. Don't I look like a researcher in the lab mixing up different vitamins? Eureka! Trying different vitamins on different rats and seeing if I can see if I can heal them with vitamins and minerals instead of pumping them up with all kind of synthetic drugs. I do that. Just natural herbs and stuff, and see what I can see if I can cure the. I could do that for the rest of my life. Just in the lab, doing algebraic equations and polynomials to trickle down theories to that, and then if you add the put that math to work. Right? Make my own super soldier theorem. Make some reverse aging right? You can do that with vitamins. Go over to one of these countries and get certified and just be over there just making people live longer and faster and stronger and able to take a bullet to the face and not feel it. Reflecting sunlight. Using the atmosphere as a weapon. Being able to move through the atmosphere with no resistance. Just won't. No resistance at all. Just won't. Cutting right through gravity like gravity's not there. You can do that. You know how? Understanding what you are. That's vague, isn't it? Don't you hate when people talk like that? Because you need to know who you are. Like, you said nothing. You said absolutely nothing. No details at all. Because I know who I am. I'm not saying a damn thing. What I'm saying is, you understand the atmosphere. You have a good grasp on gravity, which most of us don't. We have a very small understanding of gravity. We know that what goes up will come down. That's it. This is gravity. This is what we think. We think gravity We think gravity happens because the Earth is spinning at a certain speed. This is the lie they told us. We know that the Earth isn't moving now. So how's gravity made? The Earth isn't moving. Terrence Howard said gravity's man-made. I don't think he's so far-fetched, so far off. Oh, damn, that's good. But how is gravity made? Well, once you figure out the science of gravity and or the calculation, see, we know the gravity is calculated by how far something can go with the force we put behind it. So if we take something that weighs so many grams and we put so much force behind it, we know it's going to travel so far so fast. So we measure gravity that way. We measure the slope, right? So we know that if we put more force behind it, it's going to go further, faster, right? We can measure that. That's what we do. However, when an object is going through gravity, we know that there's a resistance, and this resistance causes it to lose its power. We know this. And then eventually it'll come to a screeching halt. But what if it didn't? So so-called space is weightlessness, right? And there's no gravity in space. So if you take something, you throw it in space, it just keeps going. Pretty much at the speed that, you projected it to go with how much force you put behind it. It's the same math, but now this thing is just going to keep going in a straight line because there's no resistance, there's no gravity there. So you can add so much force and it's just going to keep going in perpetuity. Well, what if the body was able to move through gravity the same way an object moves through something that doesn't have a gravitational pull? There's one way that can happen. If you were surrounded in something that gravity doesn't recognize. See, the force of gravity recognizes objects. So you have an object, gravity recognizes this. This is a mathematical equation to the universe of gravity. So gravity looks at this and goes, this is moving so fast, this weighs so much, this is only going to go so far with so much torque behind it. Because gravity is reading this. Gravity is constantly calculating this object in my hand and my hand. It's a constant mathematical equation. Whether I move it here, 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 or here, gravity constantly looks at this and it's calculating it. No matter what I do, gravity has numbers that are calculating the speed, the trajectory, the height, the weight, the length, all of it. Gravity understands this, and it's constantly computing. Constantly. What happens when gravity doesn't see this? Have you ever seen something that's stuck in the air and it looks like a glitch? That's what happens when gravity doesn't recognize something. We've seen it. We've seen birds do it. We've seen all kind of objects in the sky, and it's like that object's not moving. We're like, oh, it's a glitch in the matrix. What's happened is gravity no longer recognizes that object, and it's just there. And what happens when somebody comes and touches it? Like there was a broom that was doing that once. And all the people came out and they looked at it and they saw it and they were like, how's that possible? How's that broom just sitting there? A broom, something that doesn't have any propulsion. How is it there? There was no strings, no nothing. Somebody came and hit it. And what happened? It fell to the ground. Why? Because gravity recognized it. The mathematical equation mathed. It made sense. But what happens when there's a mathematical equation around this? It'll sit there. If you have a mathematical equation that gravity doesn't recognize, it'll sit there until another mathematical equation comes and hits it, and then it will say, I understand that. You put propulsion behind it, and I understand that math. So then it will act accordingly. But when it's non-recognizable, recognizable to sit there. Well, what if you were non-recognizable to gravity? Except you were doing it on purpose. You can actually control it. You would be able to move through gravity with no resistance. Now, there's been some people who've discovered some ways of doing this. And it's risky. It's a very risky thing to do. Some people have taken particular liquids, putting them in what looks like a flying saucer, and then spinning the liquid at a certain degree, and that made the saucer weightless and able to move. Also gave the atmosphere around the saucer kind of like an invisible cloak to gravity, and it was able to float, and it was able to go here, here, there, and everywhere with very little propulsion, actually none. There's problems with this, though. If the propulsion is off just a little bit, so let's say I took this and I gave it the mathematical equation that gravity didn't understand. So it sat there, and then I hooked some type of propulsion to it, also with the same mathematics, so gravity doesn't understand that either. And it started moving through gravity. Let's say I had a little propeller on the back of it, and it just, and now I don't need wings on it, right? I don't need wings because there's not going to be no resistance. So I just put a propeller on it. And it starts moving. And it's going to move like that until the propeller stops, but the propeller is not going to stop. There's not a motor in it. It's just a propeller. Some type of propulsion. It's just going to keep going, right? This is in theory. But what happens if it picks up speed and it's moving, let's just say at 100 miles an hour, and it keeps picking up speed because now you have propulsion behind it. And it just 100 miles an hour, within 2 seconds, it doubles its speed. The next 2 seconds, it doubles, and in every 2 seconds, it doubles its speed. You see where I'm going here? Now we're at a minute, this thing is doing a couple thousand miles an hour, and it's doubling its speed. And then gravity recognizes it. something happens where gravity says, I know what that is. What do you think will happen to this? It'll disintegrate because gravity's resistance will cause this material to catch on fire immediately and it'll burn up. 3,000-4,000 miles an hour, it'll be toast. It'll burn up. That's some of the problems that people can run into. Now, we know that there's spaceships that can go from here at the same mile an hour. So a spaceship can go from here to here at 500 mile an hour. It can travel 2 feet at 500 mile an hour. It can do the same thing going the same way or a different way and then go within 2 feet or shorter or longer. 500 mile an hour from here to here, it's at 500 mile an hour. Start. How's that possible? And then stop without being torn asunder and go the other way without centrifugal force, tearing it apart. How's that possible? Because gravity doesn't recognize it. I mean, you're sitting in a luxury vehicle. You can go up, down, all about it, doesn't matter. The surrounding of that vehicle mathematically is not understood by gravity. So it can go anywhere. Underwater, outer space, it doesn't matter. Gravity does not recognize it. This is why you see and you hear about spaceships coming out of the water. Gravity doesn't recognize it. They don't make waves when they come out. All those pictures you've seen of them coming out of the water, you didn't see the big old... All that is in the movies. In real life, those spaceships come out of the water. They come out 500 miles an hour. They go back in 500 miles an hour. No splash. And when they come past you, you don't hear them. There's a guy I know, he used to be in the Navy. He said he saw one in the water. Went right past his boat. And time stopped. This thing stopped time. Went past his boat, and then once it was gone, time started again. Gravity doesn't recognize these alien beings. That's how come when they were in Miami, they were able to pop in and pop out of our reality. They're still here. They're listening. They're listening. They're watching. Except when they want to pop into our reality, they just pop right in. Here's where it gets dangerous. When we're able to do it. When the everyday common man gets that technology and they can pop from one reality to another. That's where it gets dangerous, because what we're going to do in all of our curiosity and stupidity, we're going to say, you know what? I'm going to wherever, grandma's house. You're going to use your watch that distorts time. Nobody's taking a bus anymore. And you're just going to pop into grandma's house right through her wall. She's going to, hey, Jimmy, hey, grandma. I see you using your new, RTV 2000. Yeah, this watch is better than the RTV 1999. That one still has distortion. I lost a shirt once, lost my pants once. That wasn't too good because I popped in at work with no pants. There's going to be people who are going to lose their whole bodies. They're going to teleport into a volcano. They're going to teleport into the middle of the Pacific, a mile down. They're going to teleport into infested waters. They're going to teleport into the enemy's camp. And I don't mean on purpose. I teleport across the whole continent. People are already doing it, but they're not doing it on purpose. And then they're going to teleport right into hell. All these people who are trying this teleport stuff and mentally, they're doing that, and it's not a good look. Well, that's all I'm saying is sometimes it's not good for us to get that type of technology, but a lot of that technology already exists. I'm getting sleepy, so I'm gonna go ahead and go. But it's good talking to you guys. Guys, take it easy. Jesus loves you, and don't forget, get saved, get uh, baptized, and by water, so you can receive the Holy Spirit and let the Lord Jesus into your heart. All right, bye.